I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A dying Chevron executive is excited to one day become oil. A man wearing red glasses and pink pants is probably Dutch or something, and the report of a popular fish's death is starting to get around the tank.
This is the Onion Week in Review. The nation was once again wowed this week by the feats of very strong little boy Michael Sartinsky, who, after removing his t-shirt to better display his impressive physique, deadlifted an entire frozen turkey over his head and held it aloft for 3 full seconds. The latest demonstration of the pint-sized muscle man's almost inhuman abilities comes on the heels of multiple accomplishments involving incredible displays of speed, strength, and endurance. Over the past 4 months alone, Sartinsky cleared the 3-foot chasm between his brother's bed and his own, beat his fully grown Uncle Scott in a foot race, and threw a tennis ball clear onto the roof of his 2-story house.
Pound for pound, I honestly don't think there's a stronger boy on earth. Have you felt his muscles? They're like solid rocks.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us here. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can hop into one of those, and you will sound like you're sitting here in the studio with us. There is a lot to talk about here tonight, as always, but of course open phones, meaning you can call in and take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. It's Ian and Conan in to start things out. Johnson is, I don't know, stuck in a snowdrift or something like that.
Oh, it's crazy out there. We finally got our snow.
Yeah, this is like I don't know if it's a record or something like that, but it was a lot of damn snow up here in New England.
I don't think it's a record, but definitely.
For this time of year, though?
In about 24-hour period, it's a bunch of snow.
It was a lot, especially for right now. I mean, it's technically not even wintertime yet. But regardless, you don't need our weather report. We've got, like I said, a lot to discuss here, including the dollar, the U.S. dollar taking over Venezuela, apparently. So things are changing a little bit over there. Also, Donald Trump apparently is the first, and surprisingly the first, to use the Patriot Act to detain a man forever, according to thedailybeast.com, for the 18-year lifespan of the war on terrorism. Yes, it's actually been that long. An obscure provision of the Patriot Act permitting the indefinite detention of non-citizens on U.S. soil has gone unused. But to keep a Palestinian man behind bars even after he finished serving his sentence, the Trump administration has fired this bureaucratic Chekhov's gun. Adham Amin Hassoun, now in his late 50s, has spent nearly the entire war on terrorism in cages. He was first picked up on an immigration violation in June of 2002. He ended up standing a long trial alongside one suspected dirty bomber, Jose Padilla, but Hassoun was never accused of any act or even a plot of violence. His crime? Cutting checks to extremist-tied Muslim charities operating in places like Kosovo and Chechnya that Congress outlawed after the 9/11 attacks. Hassoun wrote all but one of those checks before 9/11. So, writing checks to charities got this guy put behind bars with no charges. He was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Hassoun should have been a free man in 2017. Well, I guess there were charges about the checks, but that was it. Instead, he found himself in the custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement after he was supposed to be released, which then locked him up in western New York. It was there that Hassoun's case turned extraordinary, as though it weren't bad enough by that point. ICE wanted to deport him, but his statelessness as a Palestinian got in the way. No country, not the Lebanon of his birth, not the Israel that occupies the West Bank and Gaza, was willing to take him. Aided by attorneys at the University of Buffalo Law School, Hassoun in January won what should have been his freedom on the grounds that his deportation was unlikely. The Trump administration instead declared him a threat to national security. It did so using an also obscure immigration regulation designed to sidestep a 2001 Supreme Court ruling imposing a 6-month detention limit. And it was aided by a testimonial under seal of Hassoun's alleged misdeeds behind bars, as related by what his attorneys describe as jailhouse snitches who provided second or third-hand accounts. And normally in court, that's not admissible as evidence. That's hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody says to you, so-and-so told me, well, sorry, unless you can get so-and-so on the stand to testify directly about the things that so-and-so allegedly said, that is inadmissible in almost every court, but I guess that doesn't apply to immigration court. According to the story, as the government fought what had become a habeas corpus for Hassoun's release, the Department of Homeland Security invoked for the first time in U.S. government history Section 412 of the Patriot Act. You've read that, right?
Of course I have. I have a copy at the house next to the refrigerator.
Absolutely. You're just paging through it. You know, everybody's read the Patriot Act, right? No, I don't think that.
I would say many of these legislators who have voted in favor of the Patriot Act, reenacting it every single year, haven't read it either.
Not read it. Yeah, I suspect the people who voted it in back when it was first put in place didn't read it, and the people who recently also reauthorized the Patriot Act, because there was also a headline recently, which we didn't really get to cover here, but talking about how Democrats, who love to talk a good game about how evil Trump is and how they oppose Trump, blah blah blah. Well, they reauthorized the Patriot Act, giving Trump all the power that he needs to do things like this.
Well, once they get their guy in, whenever that might be,
then it's going to be fine.
Then it'll be fine.
Right.
It's just the Trump they've got to worry about abusing these powers. That
well, in this case, he's just using the powers. The abuse is the fact that this exists in the first place. That's the abuse.
Most definitely, and the original defenders of this act would say, as long as we have a good president in office. And as long as no one is ever going to take and abuse this power,
so
except 2-3 presidents later, when it's finally used for the first time, or in this case, it's
18 years later. Section 412 of the Patriot Act gives the government broad powers to detain non-citizens, so-called, on American soil, whom it can't deport, but deems that on, quote, reasonable grounds to be engaged in, quote, activity that endangers the national security of the United States, unquote. It makes that determination for a 6-month period that it can renew without limit.
You know what else is scary? I read a poll today, I guess, of Republicans that states that apparently a majority of Republicans now think that the judiciary and I think it's the Congress in general just get in the way of the president.
And they don't understand that that's the point?
They want total executive power.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said it was a majority?
Yeah, supposedly. It's
like a significant majority?
Climbing, or it's a very large number.
What, you want to check?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
That's an interesting statistic.
Isn't that how Augustus Caesar
right, executive power
came into power?
Yeah, it was bad when Barack Obama had executive power, but now that it's their guy, well, we need to aggregate more power to him, because they didn't aggregate enough power to George Bush to stop elections from happening, and then Barack Obama took over control. And now they need even more power or something. Section 412 gives the government, again, the ability to renew this 6-month detention on reasonable grounds forever. To little fanfare, the former acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Kevin McAleenan, informed Hassoun on August 9th that, quote, "You will therefore remain in the custody of U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, ICE, pending your removal from the United States or reconsideration of this decision."
Which will never happen because he doesn't have a home state.
Correct. So he won't be removed. And I guess in theory, the reconsideration is supposed to happen every 6 months. But they're not obligated to make any different choices here. Attorneys for Hassoun, who were in federal court on Friday to argue for his freedom, are stunned at the invocation of Section 412. They noted the Patriot Act provision is written to, quote, take a non-citizen into custody, unquote, not to retroactively designate someone already in detention as a threat. Quote, if the government were to prevail in its claim of extraordinary and unprecedented executive power, the government would be free to lock up non-citizens indefinitely based solely on executive say-so, even after they completed serving their sentences, says Jonathan Hoffitz, attorney with the ACLU. ICE, in the ongoing litigation, declined to comment. The Department of Homeland Security also did not respond to requests for comment because they're not obligated to answer your questions. You can ask whatever you want. You have a right to speak, and they have no obligation to speak back. But they will continue to demand money from you to continue paying to put peaceful people behind bars. Because this man, again, not accused of, in case you're just tuning in here and you're thinking, well, it's a terrorist. No. He wasn't accused of doing anything violent. All they had on him was that he cut some checks, mostly before 9/11, only one check after 9/11, to some allegedly terrorist-connected charities. That's all they got.
So apparently it's almost a majority. It's 43% now.
We'll talk about that coming up, too. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. You can join us here. Indefinite detention's happening here now.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you like going to your job every day? Can you set your own schedule and take long vacations whenever you want? Are you free to do whatever you want in your dating or sex life? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into one of those and talk about whatever's on your mind. We're talking about a scary idea of indefinite detention. Apparently, and surprisingly, it has not yet been used in the United States, at least this particular provision of the Patriot Act, like within the U.S. Obviously, we know there's people in Guantanamo Bay that have been sitting there and rotting away for indefinite amounts of time. But now it's happening inside the United States, according to the story over at thedailybeast.com. And joining you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
Of course, you can bring up whatever is on your mind. Plus, I want to make sure that you know about, the LibertyCon. That's coming up April 3rd through the 5th. And we're looking forward to seeing you there because Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event over. You can go to libertycon.com to learn more about it. It's going to be a unique seminar or convention, and it's actually surprisingly affordable. Normally, if you go to a convention like this, you're going to be paying $300 or more in some cases for a weekend-long convention. In this case, you're talking about, I think it's $80, and I think that price is going to go up at the end of the year, so you definitely don't want to wait on getting registered for this. April 3rd through the 5th in D.C. Lots of great speakers are going to be there. John Mackey from Whole Foods is going to be speaking on conscious capitalism. Vernon Smith, he has won the Nobel Prize in Economics. He'll be speaking on alternative markets. Miriam Issa is a pop culture expert and political commentator with over 300 million YouTube views. Nassim Nicholas Taleb spent 21 years as a risk taker, before becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. You can learn more about other speakers and the events that are happening there at libertycon.com and use code FTL to save $10 on your registration over at libertycon.com. Plus, discounted rooms are available for everybody staying at the Marriott Marquis in D.C., and even student travel scholarships are available as well. Again, code FTL saves you $10 over at libertycon.com. All right, so more with your calls and thoughts. Certainly welcome. You can bring up anything that's on your mind here. As we continue, Johnson, you did look up the story about the statistics that you were citing from the top of your head after you walked in. What exactly are the numbers, and what was the question that was asked of these folks, Republicans, and there's numbers for Democrats as well, responding to a poll about executive power?
Sure. So this is from the Pew Research Center, which states that currently 66% of the public states that it would be too risky to give U.S. presidents more power to deal directly with many of the country's problems. About 3 in 10 adults, 29%, offering the contrasting opinion. That's a lot, by the way. The 29% offering the contrasting opinion that problems could be dealt with more effectively if U.S. presidents didn't have to worry so much about Congress or the courts. In March 2018, 76% of the public said it would be too risky to give the president's power. But this number, by the way, shifts dramatically to, and this is the answer that 43% of Republicans gave in July of 2019. Many of the country's problems could be dealt with more effectively if U.S. presidents didn't have to worry so much about the courts or the Congress. And the opposite answer is it would be too risky to give the presidents more power over directly with many of the country's problems.
So there was not like an in-between, like an I don't know or unsure?
Not according to what I'm seeing here, but I don't know. They also don't seem to mention the independents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you were to, Johnson, if you were to go down the street right now and ask people, the slaves, I think you would probably get similar results based on
probably.
party.
Oh, wow. Okay, so wait, there actually is a majority if you look into account of the ideologically here, where they say conservative Republicans who rank themselves as conservative Republicans, not
as opposed
moderate,
to just party members,
as opposed to just party members, or moderate or liberal or moderate Republicans. If you are just citing conservative Republicans, that fact becomes a majority at 52%.
52% of so-called self-described conservative Republicans say that old pesky separation of powers stuff that has resulted in
that
the
whole
largest
Constitution,
who swore to uphold and protect the Constitution.
Yeah, well, of course we know that the current situation is that the government is a humongous beast that continues to consume, as much money and obedience as it possibly can. That the government that we have today isn't efficient enough. We need to give the executive branch more power. Forget about those pesky legislators. They're just getting in the way. The court system, legislating from the bench. We need a dictator. That's basically what these people are saying.
All hail Caesar.
It's sick.
And some other guys.
Yeah, the government apparently isn't big enough for them. Right. Wait, I thought they were supposed to be conservatives. Aren't conservatives supposed to be like small government? Or isn't that what they claim?
Smaller than the progressives. Progressives are all about it, but...
Sure. But in this case, the Democrats are, what was it, under like 30% for the Dems? What was it for 16? I forget.
Yeah, but it's not their guy. If it was Obama, I'm sure they were saying the same thing.
Yeah, actually, there's another statistic here that says... favorability ratings of Congress and the parties, just over a third of Americans, 36%, say that they have a favorable view of Congress, while 59% view Congress unfavorably.
Okay.
And then they go on here to say...
That's not uncommon, right? Yeah. Like, normally most people don't like Congress.
That's always been.
Yeah.
Except their congressman or woman.
Although views of Congress have grown more positive among Democrats and less positive among Republicans since Democrats won control of the House of Representatives last November. Obviously. Since March 2018, the share of Democrats and Democratic leaners with a favorable opinion of Congress has risen 19 percentage points from 24 to 43%.
Right. They see Congress as this force that's pushing back against Trump, who they hate.
Yep. The share of Republicans with a favorable view of Congress has declined 10 points, since then 37 to 27%. Democratic favorability in Congress is now at its highest point in the party since the party last held the House in 2010. However, currently 45% of the public has a favorable opinion of the Republican Party, while 52% view the GOP unfavorably. Opinions of about the Democratic Party are the same: 45% favorable, 52% unfavorable. These opinions are little changed since January, but last September, 53% of Americans viewed the Democratic Party favorably, while 43% had a favorable impression of the Republican Party. So it sounds like, what has happened is that the view of the Republican Party has increased while the view of the Democratic Party has decreased. So
it's all so mind-numbing. It's so maddening that... and we've talked about in recent days on Free Talk Live how this partisanship has just gotten worse over time.
The majority of the country just dislikes the other party. It's not that they have a like for a current party. It's just
they don't know what the other party stands for.
Yeah.
They just know they don't like them.
And it doesn't matter what the other party stands for, because if they were told that their party stood for something, it wouldn't... Like, they don't have their own set of principles.
No, they don't.
It's like, whatever the other party stands for, I'm against it.
But you know where you see such other similar hatreds like this? Sports.
Yes.
That's right.
I hate them son of a guns. They're doing the exact same thing my team is doing, but I hate them.
Yep. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want. It's Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Ever wanted to hook up with an attractive woman, but you couldn't because you were already in a relationship? Ever wanted to earn high income on low work hours? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low work, high income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Whether you want to talk about the mind-numbing ignorance of people and their political party favorites,
sports,
or do I repeat myself? Or you want to discuss this ridiculous indefinite detention, this outrageous story coming out of the United States. It's not just a Guantanamo thing anymore. So Ian Johnson and Conan in the studio. Plus coming up, Conan's got a Mandela of the Week plus Game of the Week. That's all on the way here tonight. Now, of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live brought to you by HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. You ready to start accepting Bitcoin at your point of sale. It's your business, whether you have a brick and mortar building that people come to, or you maybe go to your customers. You want to accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Dash or Bitcoin Cash, just get over to helpmetakebitcoin.com and they'll walk you through the process. It's free to do it, so why not? Do you want to be on the cutting edge? Do you want to offer your customers more options, possibly get some new business through the door? It's all possible when you start taking cryptocurrency. There's no paperwork, there's no hoop jumping. You just create an account, username and password, and that's it. You got to download their app to your device for your point of sale, and then it's pretty easy. It's iOS or Android devices qualify, plus any old web browser will work as well. Get over to helpmetakebitcoin.com and get started there. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we can continue riffing on these ridiculous statistics showing a significant number of Republicans, and especially those who describe themselves as conservative Republicans, over 50% of them, and in the 40 percentile, like 43 or something like that, I think it was, of all Republicans,
something like that. Yep.
Think that there ought to be more power aggregated to the executive branch. They want to see more executive detentions, more indefinite detentions, because, we need to have more power to one particular side of the government in order to just get things done. And by get things done, we mean oppress people's freedoms and destroy their liberties and their rights. Because that's all it could ever mean. You give the executive branch more power. It's not like he's going to use it to go and arrest Congress or something like that.
I still love Pew's methodology on these things, where it's based on a telephone interview conducted July 10th through 15th among a national sample of 1,502 adults, 18 years of age or older, living in all 50 U.S. states in the District of Columbia. 302 respondents were interviewed on a landline telephone.
Okay. 300 out of 50. What was the
1,500?
1,500?
Yeah, 1,502. So 302 were interviewed on a landline telephone, and 1,200 were interviewed on a cell phone, including 807 who had no landline telephone.
Have you guys ever been contacted by any of these bigwig?
Constantly.
Really?
Yeah, I get research calls constantly.
Only on the landline?
No, cell phone.
But I'm answering his question. I've only been contacted on landline.
Because I have never been contacted. Well, maybe I'm screening my calls and blocking numbers immediately.
Maybe.
Right off the bat. And so I don't know.
Although, actually, the number that I provide most places is the Google Voice number, so that's probably how I'm getting.
You know what I'm getting? My
cases.
Google Voice number is being hit up by the Chiners. It's just nothing but Chinese, something in Chinese, Mandarin, excuse me.
Okay.
So I don't know what they're trying to sell me.
How do you know it's Mandarin as opposed to Chinese?
I thought it was the same thing.
Well,
is it? I don't know.
Simplified, or what's I guess Mandarin. Yeah, no, Mandarin I think is the common Chinese language, as opposed to what is it? Cantonese or I think Mandarin and Cantonese are the two primary Chinese languages.
Okay, I didn't even know Chinese wasn't a language.
I want to say Szechuan, but that's a type of food, I believe. That's a regional province of a food.
I'm also getting a lot of 1-800 numbers that leave voicemails. They'll leave a message, and it's in Chinese.
Really?
So every so often you just need to pick up and be like, "Ni hao," "Ni hao ah." Just learn some basic Chinese phrases.
Epstein didn't kill himself in Chinese. I don't know what that is.
So if you want to jump in, you can.
No, just answer and say, "I support Hong Kong."
Oh,
in Chinese.
That's good.
Then they hang up on you.
Well, Trump supposedly supports Hong Kong. Didn't he sign a declaration of some sort recently?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
The Chinese people, it's very important, the freedom.
He's very concerned with their freedom, but not so much the freedom of this guy, Mr. Hassoum, who was detained indefinitely. Adham Amin Hassoun, now in his late 50s, has been behind bars since 2002, sentenced to 15 years in federal prison, initially for simply cutting some checks to so-called extremist-tied Muslim charities operating in places like Kosovo and Chechnya that were subsequently outlawed after 9/11. He wrote one check after 9/11, and they put him in prison for 15 years. Wow. When he was released, they wanted to send him back to where he was from, but he's a stateless person because he's from Palestine, and so they couldn't get anyone to accept him back from where he's from. And so they just decided they're going to use Section 412 of the Patriot Act to take a non-citizen into custody and keep him there until further notice, because there's apparently no limit to how long they can detain people under this section of the act, which has never been used until this guy. Here's the rest of the story from thedailybeast.com. Bureaucrats at ICE and the Homeland Security are not commenting. According to the story here, they're interviewing his attorney, and actually this is the former acting secretary of Homeland Security, Kevin McAleenan, who had informed Hassoun that he will be, quote, remaining in custody of ICE pending your removal from the United States, which there's no plan for that, or reconsideration of the decision. He claimed in his August invocation of the Patriot Act that he did so because Hassoun, quote, assumed a leadership role in a criminal conspiracy to recruit fighters and provide material support to terrorist groups, and because you pose a continuing threat to recruit, plan, participate in, and provide material support for terrorist activity, unquote. Yet the federal judge in his criminal case painted a far different picture of Hassoun during his 2008 sentencing. That judge, Marcia Cook, said at the time, quote, there was, quote, no evidence that these defendants personally maimed, killed, or kidnapped anyone in the United States or elsewhere, and the government could find no identifiable victims as the result of their actions, she said. Cook, who was a Bush appointee, specifically rejected the life sentence that the Justice Department sought for Hassoun, noting that years of a government surveillance on him never resulted in his criminal arrest. Quote, this fact does not support the government's argument that Mr. Hassoun poses such a danger to the community that he needs to be imprisoned for the rest of his life, said the judge at the time. Unquote. The administration's portrayal of Hassoun contrasts with the man Nicole Hallett and Jonathan Maines, professors at the Buffalo Law School, meet nearly every week at the ICE detention center in Batavia. They describe someone who operates as a paternal figure to other Muslim detainees. He aids their court cases by poring over the law books in the library. Locked up with about 30 other immigration detainees, his red jumpsuit marking him as a security threat, Hassoun wakes early to help prepare breakfast in the facility kitchens. Even after what has become a 17-year ordeal in various cells, he keeps up with American pop culture and is a fan of the USA Network legal drama Suits. Using Section 412 of the Patriot Act to prolong his confinement was so unlikely that a March New York Times story referenced it only as a tactic by government attorneys to bolster the legitimacy of the immigration regulation. 5 months later, it was a reality. To Hallett, the shock of his detention, even after Hassoun served his criminal sentence, matched with the unprecedented means the administration is using to keep him locked up, testifies to the degradation of the rule of law in the post-9/11 era. The attorney said, quote, this is Guantanamo on domestic soil. The government is trying to detain him as long as it wants, and that prison happens to be in Batavia, New York, not at Guantanamo Bay. And if they can get away with this one, how long before they're going to do number 2?
Baby steps,
and
Ian.
3,
Baby
and
steps.
5, and 10, and 50.
But it's for our safety because we don't want any more buildings coming down, right?
And how long before it's one of your friends or family members?
That's the way it works.
That gets taken into custody. Oh, but it's only for non-citizens. You don't have anything to worry about, right? 855 450 free. Just, get back to your sports.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We can all agree these are troubled times, right? So do you know who's on your wireless network? Whether it's a big company selling your data or a foreign hacker, if you're not protected, everybody sees your information. That's why you need Flash Routers, a custom Wi-Fi router created for privacy. Flash Routers uses a virtual private network, or VPN, to protect your online activity from hackers, trackers, and large corporations. And not just one, but all your devices with one out-of-the-box setup. Plus, Flash Routers also enhances your wireless network performance and unlocks powerful router management tools to let you take total control of your network. Call or click Flash Routers today at 1-866-509-5817 or FLASHROUTERS.com. That's 1-866-509-5817 or FlashRouters.com. Protect your wireless home network today with Flash Routers.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
If you're looking for work, or even if you're not, here's an innocent mistake you really want to avoid. Never return calls before listening to your voicemail. Your wireless phone sends calls you didn't answer into voicemail, and it shows you phone numbers for calls you missed. Important. Don't call back callers you missed until you have first listened to your messages. Otherwise, you frustrate people who bothered to leave messages by asking them to repeat a message they just left as your voicemail greeting instructed them to. If you're a job applicant, this alone could be a deal killer. And even if you're not, there are few things you can convey to someone that are as fundamentally maddening as, "I didn't hear you." With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You know, Guantanamo Bay doesn't get much coverage these days. At least I don't see a whole lot of stories about Guantanamo Bay. I mean, have you guys heard anything about what's happening in Guantanamo Bay in the last half a decade?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Trump closed it, right?
Right after Barack Obama closed it.
Yeah, right after Obama did.
Right.
Sad stuff, because now it's coming home. And you know, the old saying from, was it Pastor Martin Niemöller, the old poem from the late 30s, early 40s. First they came for the communists, and I wasn't a communist. I didn't stand up. First, then they came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't stand up. And then they came for me, and there was nobody else. I'm paraphrasing it. There's nobody else left to stand up. So, you know, you don't stand up for the folks that are in Guantanamo Bay because you figure, well, they're terrorists. They deserve what happens to them. Well, they haven't had a trial. Well, it doesn't matter. They must have done something wrong. That's why they're there.
Mm-hmm.
This is the mentality of people who support this stuff. Many of whom probably now support aggregating more power to the executive branch. I imagine if you asked that same polling sample about how they felt about Guantanamo Bay, they'd probably overwhelmingly support it. In fact, I wonder...
look at Trump's pardon of Arpaio.
Joe Arpaio, America's toughest sheriff.
Yeah, who's essentially, been trying to create Guantanamo on U.S. soil as far as he possibly can.
Well, yes, and thankfully Arpaio is out of office, at least. I heard a rumor he might be trying to run again for sheriff. down there in
Hopefully
Arizona.
he's old and dies.
He is very old. He's in his 80s.
Yeah.
Last I heard. So if you want to comment, you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We're sharing a story from the dailybeast.com that there's, guess what? Guantanamo Bay has hit the United States. They've now used the Patriot Act, Section 412 of it, to prolong a man's detention on alleged immigration grounds now, after he'd spent 15 years in federal prison with no real actual crime, just for donating some money to some so-called extremist Muslim charities, or rather, extremist-connected Muslim charities. So I don't know what that really means. I presume it's a Muslim charity that allegedly has ties in some way to so-called extremists. I don't know if that means they get money from extremists, or they give money to extremists, or what that means.
Apparently December 11th is like Guantanamo Day.
What does that mean?
It's like this December 11th will be the 116th birthday of Guantanamo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know it'd been down there that long.
Yep, apparently.
So, again, this attorney's saying this is Guantanamo on domestic soil. And he's absolutely right. This guy's being held indefinitely. They can't send him back to where he's from. And they don't want to let him out. So they've got a 6-month window of time that they can just keep on renewing until he dies. They talk about how he's actually a pretty well-behaved prisoner. He's helping other prisoners, study. He watches television. He works in the kitchen. Hassoun is said to be mentally sharp. His physical health is a different question. Twice in Batavia, he's been hospitalized, say his attorneys, after hunger strikes to protest his confinement exacerbated his diabetes and a pre-existing heart condition. Then comes the loneliness and the sense of injustice. His wife moved to Lebanon with their children over a decade ago. Last year, Hassoun told Hallett and Maines about his youngest son's acceptance to college. The young man was 2 years old when his father was arrested. Hassoun believes that his prosecution was the result of his 2002 decision while in immigration custody not to turn federal informant.
There it is. Ding, ding, ding.
So he wouldn't go along with what the gang wanted him to do, and so they punished him.
Yep.
Unlike many immigrant detainees, Hassoun isn't contesting deportation. His attorney said he would leave the country if one would take him. Another eerie parallel to Guantanamo. Quote, Adham just wants to live peacefully someplace, said his attorney. A sister in Florida, U.S. citizen, could assume custody for him under supervised release. Quote, he feels quite a bit of angst over the fact that he had served his sentence and feels like he should be released. He's worried about dying in prison. So there you go. What's next? Who's next? Where does it go from here? And what do you do to stop it? Because whoever the Democrats put forward is likely not going to do anything to change this situation. You can ask them about it. They'll probably dodge the question or talk about how important it is to have strong tools to fight the war on terrorism. This man could be dangerous.
This reminds me a little bit, and I'm sure it's been talked about recently on the show. I mean, I might be wrong, but about the crypto investor who, I guess, was working with North Korea.
I have that story too.
Oh, you have that story now?
Yeah, well, I have it on my show prep for tonight.
Okay, so it hasn't been covered. Well, it sounds pretty related to this.
Yeah, it's definitely related to this. I'm just double checking to make sure they didn't talk about it last night. No, it looks like they did not. So yeah, that's another outrageous story. You're talking about a programmer, I think, or somebody that knows a thing or two about how cryptocurrency works.
Mm-hmm. And he went to, I guess the North Koreans have a crypto conference. Like the crypto conferences that happen around the country. I think there's a crypto conference in Mexico. There's crypto conferences at a bunch of places.
I didn't know that's what it was. I thought it was just, I guess it was a conference of some sort. Well, anyway, apparently he went and he spoke.
Right. And therefore,
and that's a crime.
He's a terrorist.
Yeah. Spoke to the wrong people, because apparently free speech doesn't actually apply if you speak to someone the government doesn't like.
Right.
Wait. So he spoke to their government?
He spoke at a crypto conference that occurred in North Korea and therefore is being prosecuted and imprisoned for helping the North Koreans to avoid U.S. sanctions. and therefore he is a treasonous terrorist who must be imprisoned because he is helping the North Koreans to avoid United States sanctions on trade.
I get that,
by funneling money through cryptocurrency, which is ridiculous.
Is this not also happening in Venezuela and Iran right now as we speak?
Trying to avoid sanctions, you mean?
Well, I mean, no. Cryptocurrency experts going to those countries and helping out interested parties.
Absolutely. I mean, the folks from
be
Dash.
Scared if you are.
So why aren't they being imprisoned?
Because they haven't found them yet, maybe? I don't know.
This guy talked to the FBI, from what I understand, and that was a mistake number one. I've got a couple different stories on this, actually, Johnson. One from Forbes, the other the Associated Press. According to a press release, this is Forbes, from the Department of Justice, Virgil Griffith, a resident of Singapore and U.S. citizen, was arrested for a criminal complaint that he's been charged with violating the International Emergency Economic Powers Act.
It's always great when it's an emergency power. Those are always
the
fun.
worst.
Yeah.
IEEPA. By traveling to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korea, in order to deliver presentation and technical advice on using cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to evade sanctions. FBI's assistant director in charge, Bill Sweeney Jr., said, quote, Mr. Griffith allegedly traveled to North Korea without permission from the federal government and without knowledge what he was doing was against the law. Or, excuse me, with knowledge that what he was doing was against the law. We cannot allow anyone to evade sanctions because the consequences of North Korea obtaining funding, technology, and information to further its desire to build nuclear weapons put the world at risk. It's even more egregious that a U.S. citizen allegedly chose to aid our adversary. Unquote.
Allegedly. Very important word there.
Well, it's alleged because they haven't proved the case yet. Although, again, he spoke to the FBI, so...
Well, if they throw the Patriot Act at this guy, they won't have to prove anything. He'll just rot in jail for the next 50 years.
Oh, but he's a citizen, Conan. No worries.
Singapore.
He's okay. Yeah, but he's a U.S. citizen, so he's okay. He's got himself a right to trial.
Well, these are the baby steps we were talking about just a second ago. Maybe
they threw that out the window with Obama, right? Killing
right to trial?
Al-Awlaki.
Yep. And
good point, yeah.
I mean, he just blew that guy right up. No trial. No,
trial by drone.
No due process.
In this case, Griffith is specifically accused of traveling to North Korea in April of this year to attend and present at the Pyongyang Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Conference, even though the U.S. Department of State had denied him permission to travel to the DPRK. He presented at the conference, knowing that doing so violated sanctions against North Korea, and at no time did he obtain permission from the from OFAC, what is that, Office of Foreign Assets and Control or something like that, to provide goods, services, or technology to the DPRK. The order from the government said, quote, despite receiving warnings where he went there and taught the audience how to use blockchain technology to evade sanctions. By this complaint, we begin the process of seeking justice.
Office of Foreign Assets Control, and it's a part of the Treasury Department, of course.
The toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. Should somebody be free in a country with supposed free speech to be able to say things to people the government doesn't like? I would say, yeah. That's what's, you're supposed to be able to, if you're saying things that are unpopular, that's what free speech is designed to protect.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,477, silver at $17.17, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,303. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, this week, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation issued a warning about the popular smartphone photo application FaceApp, along with every other app developed in Russia, calling them a potential counterintelligence threat. The investigation was prompted by warnings from Democratic U.S. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer this July that the app was suspect because it was made in Russia. Schumer posted the FBI's letter to his Twitter profile with a statement that basically implied, "I told you so." However, it doesn't seem there was much of an actual investigation into the technical aspects of the application, considering that the statement suggested that any app or product developed in Russia, like FaceApp, is a potential counterintelligence threat. Ian Thornton Trump, intelligence service expert and CompTIA faculty member, told Forbes that the statement is out of touch and assumes that FaceApp is a threat simply due to its country of origin. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The internet is once again in an uproar after yet another employee of another restaurant offended a cop. Starbucks, who has been under fire for being pro-police, is now in the media after a barista printed a coffee label for a police officer with the word pig on it. In a crazy twist, the daughter of the police chief, who made the incident public, took to Twitter to voice her opinion on her dad, which is that he absolutely is a pig. That's a quote from her. The Mind Unleashed reports that over the weekend, the chief of police in Kiefer, Oklahoma, Chief Johnny O'Mara, took to Facebook to publicly blast Starbucks for their anti-police barista. In a now-deleted post, O'Mara said one of his officers trekked to Starbucks to get coffee for a dispatcher when he received the insulting label, which read pig. Chief O'Mara called the coffee shop, and employees there offered to replace the coffee with a correct label. But that wasn't enough, according to the Post. The chief used his pulpit to claim that those who call police officers pigs want to burn down society. A bill filed in the New Jersey Assembly would allow utility customers in the state to opt out of installing smart meter technology on homes and businesses. Passage of the bill would enable New Jersey residents to protect their own privacy, and it would take a step toward blocking a federal program in effect. Activist Post reports a bipartisan coalition of 3 Assembly members introduced Assembly Bill 5884 on November 14th. The legislation would create an option for New Jersey utility customers to opt out of any utility company smart meter program with no penalty. Smart meters monitor home energy usage in minute detail in real time. The devices transmit data to the utility company where it gets stored in databases. Anybody with access to the data can download it for analysts. Without specific criteria limiting access to the data, the devices create significant privacy issues. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Now that multiple Thomas E. Dewey High School sources have confirmed that junior Jessica Milley will soon begin putting out, with many speculating that she'll go all the way with her boyfriend Josh Gibson as early as this Friday, Milley's classmates have been quick to weigh in on the news.
Jessica was sitting at this table when she told Erica that she was finally going to do Josh.
Jessica's pretty hot, so I'm happy with her decision.
I was pretty certain the next girl to start putting out would be Amy Courtley because everybody knows her mom's a slut.
While the majority of students were somewhat surprised that Jessica might give it up at Andy Wheeler's house party this Friday, possibly on one of Wheeler's 2 basement couches, Milley's intentions didn't come as a shock to some. Now that the news is settling in, several Dewey High sources are suggesting that Milley's decision could cause a domino effect in which even more classmates begin putting out in the near future.
I think I'm going to start putting out in January or February, definitely by prom.
Keep checking theonion.com for more news as this story progresses.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Hey, if you're going to go to North Korea and give a presentation to the government there, I mean, it's probably just as illegal to just give any presentation about blockchain in North Korea as long as, like, some guy from the government happens to show up or whatever. But dude from the U.S. who lives in Singapore but is still a U.S. citizen has been arrested. His name is Virgil Griffith. And Johnson, you brought this up here tonight, and I actually happen to have the story in show prep. I've been meaning to talk about it for a couple days. We just haven't had a chance. He's awaiting appearance in federal court as of last week, or I guess on Friday, when he was arrested. He was arrested Thursday at Los Angeles International Airport. So here's a tip. Tip number one, if you're going to go to North Korea and speak about blockchain, or period, if you're just going to go to North Korea and you probably just don't want to come back to the United States after that.
But don't ask permission
to go there in the first place,
like he did. So, he was already on their hit list. He was on the radar.
Yeah. So he asked permission. It was denied. And then, according to the story at the this is Associated Press, the story from fifthdomain.com, he went through a North Korean diplomatic mission facility in Manhattan, paid €100, and then traveled through China in April to get to North Korea. So he went there anyway. Then he came back to the United States and was arrested. So that's tip number one. But tip number two is, even if you're going to come back to the United States and then they arrest you, don't talk to the police. And that includes the FBI. Don't talk to the FBI. Number one, because it's a bad reason, it's a bad idea, period, to talk to the police. The more you talk to the police, the closer you are to catching a criminal charge. And then number two, and it doesn't matter if you think that, you know what you're doing or whatever. Even if you've got your attorney with you, there's really no reason to talk to them. I mean, if you're going to talk to them, you should have your attorney with you. Because that way your attorney can be like, no, you don't have to answer. They can remind you, you don't have to answer their questions. If you have your attorney with you, then, you can also, or if for some reason you seem like you need to talk to the police, you can record it. Because remember, the FBI will not record your interviews. As we learned during their trial for our co-host, then known as Rich Paul, now his name is Nobody, the FBI testified, the agent testified at trial, it is the FBI's policy to not record interviews.
Yep.
Now, why would they not want to record interviews?
Their say.
So what you're saying is the FBI never records nobody.
That's correct. No, well, actually, they never. That would be a double negative. That would mean they do record people. They never record anybody. That's what they do. And it's right what you said, Conan, because then it's their word against yours. Well, the suspect told us, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, I didn't. Well, how do you prove that? So he made a huge mistake. He spoke to the FBI. According to the criminal complaint against him, he showed the FBI photographs of himself in North Korea and provided agents with propaganda from the country. It said that Griffith planned to facilitate the exchange of cryptocurrency between North and South Korea and encouraged other U.S. citizens to attend the same conference next year. U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan said in their news release, quote, Griffith announced his intention to renounce his U.S. citizenship and began researching how to purchase citizenship from other countries. Again, it would have been a good idea to just stay out. I mean, if you're really serious about renouncing citizenship, then that means you don't want to come back to the United States. Because if you renounce citizenship, and I'm not saying I'm against that idea. I think, for the folks that want to do it, I think it's a great idea. Just remember, if you're not a citizen, then you don't have a right to come back. And so if they want to ban you from coming back in, they can. They will treat you just like they treat other immigrants, other visitors. You'd have to have a visa coming from certain countries, etc. So that's what happens. So Roger Ver, for instance, who a friend of the show, longtime advertiser from Bitcoin.com, he also renounced his citizenship. And you know what? He had to pay 6 figures in back taxes to do it.
Wow.
From what I've heard. So it is not an easy process. And after that process was done, he decided he didn't want to come back to the United States.
But Ian, if you don't like how we do our business here, you can just leave.
Sure, after you pay your exit tax and jump through whatever hoops they put up for you. They say here that prosecutors say another person involved in the alleged conspiracy was to be brought to New York and arrested. That person is not named in the criminal complaint against Griffith. So they're going to snatch somebody else up if they get the chance. The U.S. attorney, if you're that guy or gal or whatever, if you happen to know that you also were, traveling to North Korea with this Griffith character and you're still in the United States, you might want to hitch a ride down to Mexico. Like tonight. Prosecutors, attorney in Manhattan, Jeffrey Berman, said Griffith, quote, provided highly technical information to North Korea, knowing that this information could be used to help North Korea launder money and evade sanctions. Griffith has contributed to the hacker magazine 2600, which tweeted Friday that his arrest amounted to, quote, an attack on all of us, unquote. I kept warning him that it was a trap, said the magazine's editor, Emmanuel Goldstein, in a separate Twitter post, adding that Griffith, get this, insisted on speaking to the FBI without a lawyer. So just to be clear, the trap wasn't going to North Korea. The trap was speaking to the FBI, according to the editor of 2600. What's ironic is that afterwards he was convinced they totally got where he was coming from. After speaking to the FBI, he thought they were okay with it. I mean, just the level of ignorance. How can you be? I just don't understand this. I've read 2600 in the past. I mean, I'm not a hacker, but back in the 90s or whatever, I grabbed a copy. Way back in the day when they were talking about blue boxes and red boxes and all the the hacker
how
equipment.
old is this Griffith guy?
30-ish.
So,
36.
Wait, why do you mention 2600?
He was a contributor.
Oh, right, okay.
And so he knew and was known by the people at the magazine.
Yeah, I'm sure several feds are contributors too.
The editor tried to tell him, "Don't go, dude. Don't go. Don't talk to the FBI. You are a 2600 contributor. You, more than anyone else, should know that this is a bad plan."
So Singapore and what part of the country here? You said Manhattan?
Well, they picked him up in Los Angeles, but the charges are coming out of Manhattan.
So he might be a Silicon Valley guy.
There's a good chance.
He might be very left-leaning, and he probably used to trust his government. And now he's having to learn the hard way.
I just don't understand.
Sometimes you got to let the kid put his hand in the fire. And
yeah. Well,
you can't tell them otherwise until they learn on their own.
I don't know what the potential sentence is for this, but I suspect it's treason, which could be the death penalty. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. Dave is in Colorado. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Dave.
In Colorado, but I'll be back in a week.
All right. Glad to hear it.
So I have more New Hampshire news for you.
Yes, sir.
The Liberty actress and possibly some allies in the vaccine skeptic community have stopped the federal government, or stopped the state of New Hampshire from taking a federal grant, at least temporarily, which would be used to create or enhance a registry of people's vaccine histories.
And take a lot of money too, right? A lot of federal money.
Yeah. So what's been happening so far is that in 2016, New Hampshire became the last state to establish a registry of vaccine users, and of course, 3 years later, they still don't have a working registry because they're just about wasting money. Apparently, I guess they've already spent over $1 million, and they've got apparently nothing interesting to show for it. So the feds have thought, well, if we just throw some more money at it, we can help New Hampshire by throwing money at their government program to monitor people. And so I guess there were a lot of activists out at the State House, and the Executive Council voted, or at least delayed, the acceptance of this grant.
And so what would the grant require on the part of the government? Just to take the money and keep going with the program?
I don't know, beyond the fact that I would obviously be for enhancing their registry. I don't know what other things came with.
Hold that thought, Dave. I know you said you had more news. We'll share that in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico-Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico-Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico-Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Have you ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office? Have you ever felt trapped by relationship rules like monogamy? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
But is God against audio CDs or MP3s?
No, all that technology was stolen from the angels in the first place. You wouldn't have anything that wasn't here in 1947.
Why are you selling audio tapes on your website?
There's only one there. which is Angels Over Pendleton, shows
I see
a
several
video
audio
of the
tapes here.
angel that we communicated with.
No,
for
you can't
9
put
days.
video on it. You can't put video on an audio tape. I'm looking at your website here. There's a page where you've got audio tapes for sale for $6, $6.25 each.
And I bought both Nazareth and REO Speedwagon on audio tape.
On audio tape,
Yeah.
but that was back in the 80s. Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting the word, if you're trying to get the word out about, what you believe is going to happen in the future, maybe you should put it on CD and at least move into the 1990s as opposed to, 1985.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. More on the 2600 contributor, Hacker Quarterly writer, who should have known better. He decided he was just going to go have a chat with the FBI after they wanted to talk to him after his visit to North Korea. A story that's been making headlines around the U.S., that is just tragic. I mean, all the dude did was give a presentation. Probably didn't tell them anything they couldn't find out by going and watching some YouTube videos. I mean, it's not like, what's he going to tell them about Bitcoin that isn't already publicly available? It's not like he knows some kind of special secrets. He probably, I don't know if he speaks Korean, but they had him go and speak at this conference. I mean, I imagine there probably aren't too many Korean Bitcoin videos, although I guess that South Koreans probably have a lot of Bitcoin videos. I've heard Bitcoin's pretty big down there. Anyway, we can talk more about it here with you tonight, by the way. It's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
And if you're sick and tired of Washington politicians making decisions about you and your family's health care, then you need to go to betterplans.net. Yeah, Obamacare, they said it was going to help you with health care being more affordable and give you choices, but it's turned into high-priced insurance with little choice. The folks at BetterPlans.net believe there was a better way to do health insurance, and they figured out how. You can call them at 800-714-1802 to get a fast and free quote. The truth is, you can get an affordable health care plan that costs hundreds of dollars less per month, but the first step is to become aware of how the wool's being pulled over your eyes. You can download their ebook for free. It's called Dirty Little Secrets at BetterPlans.net. Their sample pricing for plans is there. It's every bit as good as the major providers' plans for as little as $145 a month for a single, and even greater savings for families and businesses. You can get access to educational videos and a free quote, plus your free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, at BetterPlans.net. Obamacare's enrollment deadline for this year is December 15th. So don't delay. You can visit betterplans.net or call 800-714-1802. Let's go back to Dave in Colorado before we talk more about the FBI cracking down on a guy that just went to give a speech, just to a group of people the federal government doesn't like. Dave, you're back on, and this is, by the way, Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com, who is a great liberty activist from here in New Hampshire. He's been out there in Colorado. What was it, family issues, I think, that they've been kind of trapping you out there for a little while, Dave?
My mom has some health issues.
Gotcha. Well, glad to hear that you're on your way back. Hopefully that's some good news. But you had more news for us about New Hampshire. What's going on?
Yeah, so we were talking about how New Hampshire was, I guess, the last state to establish a registry of vaccine users or people's vaccine history. And but it's interesting how, oftentimes people say, well, New Hampshire's so backward, they're the last state to impose this new restriction. But then you look at how people are actually behaving, and you find that the people are behaving better in that area. For instance, New Hampshire has, according to this Concord Monitor article, one of the highest rates of immunization in the country, even though it was the last one to establish this government registry.
So are you one of these vaccine supporters? Because I know that some people feel very strongly about this issue.
Oh, no, I don't know, for sure. I'm not against taking vaccines, and I have taken some in my life, and I might take more. I don't know. I think, the science seems to, I think there's not enough there in the anti-vaxxer debate, but I'm willing to listen.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. I mean, I can respect the people that don't want to do it because from what they've said, there's some scary stuff about vaccines. Of course, the people that do advocate for them have good arguments as well. I mean, I don't know if either of you guys here in the studio have any opinions about it.
I don't trust Big Pharma.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad I'm not dead.
The important thing is just that people not be forced to underwrite government programs against their will, or probably they shouldn't be forced to even take vaccines against their will.
I would agree there. Now, are they forced to take vaccines against their will? Is my understanding that you aren't forced to take them, but they do highly incentivize it by basically saying, well, if you want free government schools, then you have to get the vaccines.
That's how they get you. And I don't know what the rules are here in New Hampshire. I don't know if you can opt out for religious reasons
and still go to the school.
Correct. I'm not sure what it is.
I think that basically every decade or so, if you're against vaccines, you should scratch yourself with rusty nails just to test the theory.
But I do know that my daughter did attend one semester here, and she was required to present all forms.
Oh, and did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this whole registry, their argument is that no one is able to keep all the vaccine information over the years because they lose that piece of paper or whatever. And what they need is a statewide registry, and everyone will have access to it: the schools and the doctors and government. And it's for you. It's for the kids. It's keeping us safe. That's their argument. Oh, and they're going to throw a lot of money in on it, to incentivize the state to actually get on board with this program.
Well, and that's what you'd called about tonight, Dave, is you said that the state's executive council, which as I understand it, is the group of 5 people that works with the governor to approve certain expenditures over a certain amount of money. And it's a relatively small amount. I don't recall what it is. But you're saying that this executive council has, at this point, deferred. They've not yet rejected, but they've said they've sort of kicked the can down the road on accepting this government grant from the feds?
Well, it says, quote, in response to a rush of emails and texts with almost 24 parents protesting outside, the Executive Council yielded to public pressure, postponing consideration of a $1.5 million federal grant, unquote.
And isn't that amazing? 24 parents. I've seen pictures of all these guys in the State House.
Made a difference.
And a lot of people think, the argument is I'm not going all the way to Concord to argue against something that I believe wholly in my heart, because I'm not going to, my ideas don't mean a lick of split to these guys.
Well, that's one of the reasons why New Hampshire was chosen as the destination for this liberty migration that's been going on, is because, first of all, the reason, in my opinion, one of the reasons why New Hampshire beat out Wyoming in the vote, because there was a vote of 10 different states for the Free State Project, is size.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a big deal to go from Keene, where we live in the southwestern corner of the state, an hour and 10 minutes to go to Concord. That's not a huge drive. Whereas when, Johnson, you and I, we lived in Florida for some time down in Sarasota, it would have been a 4.5 hour drive if we wanted to go to Tallahassee. I've never been.
Yeah. We'd have to get a hotel for that.
Yeah, I lived there for 26 years. I've never been to Tallahassee.
And the amount of legislators in this state as well. I mean, we have 7 here just in Keene. So I mean, if you don't agree with one of them, you can go knock on the other guy's door.
Dave, was there other story that you wanted to relate tonight, or was that it?
Well, systemically, this is one of the big advantages of one of the advantages of New Hampshire. Most states don't have anything like the executive council. It's almost like a vice governor that can veto the governor.
Yep.
Interesting. Hey, Dave, thanks for sharing tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. That's Dave over at the Ridley Report at ridleyreport.com. Look forward to seeing you back when you get up here. Hopefully you'll swing by Keene and say hi to us. Always nice to see you. Dave Ridley there. More coming up here in moments. You can share your thoughts with us. More on this guy who went and gave a speech in North Korea.
Should have done a video conference.
It still would have been illegal. It was him giving them information that they didn't like. It's one thing that he traveled there. They didn't like that either. But more coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're giving out free advice here tonight. Now, this isn't legal advice, kids, because none of us are attorneys on this show, but it is free advice because legal advice usually costs you money. You got to pay attorneys for that stuff. But tip number one, don't talk to the police. Because usually if the police, in this case the FBI, want to interview you, it's because you're a suspect. They have information about you, and they want you to confirm that information. They want you to admit to committing some sort of crime, or in this case, some kind of non-crime. Because I don't believe, and if you disagree with me, please call in, because I know you guys aren't going to disagree on this. If you disagree, if you think that it should be illegal, that this guy should go to prison for giving a presentation about blockchain technology, that's the technology behind Bitcoin, to the North Koreans, then I would love to hear from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, because that's what's happening to this guy. 855-450-3733. Speaking of Bitcoin, you and anyone in the world who wants to can go to Bitcoin.com and learn more about cryptocurrency. They got a lot of features at Bitcoin.com. One of the newer features is their local.bitcoin.com website, which allows you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods. There are a bunch of different options there, and it's a global trading platform. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, which is a huge difference between it and other sites like it. And all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So if you want to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash, get over there. If you're going to sell Bitcoin Cash, you do need to do your due diligence and learn about the different payment methods. Some of them are high risk, and that means you're the one taking the extreme risk in that case, so keep that in mind.
PayPal.
Yeah, that's one of them. If you are a buyer, you're not as at great of a risk on the site, but you still probably want to only buy from people that have some sales under their belt. So Aria DeMezzo, our Monday night host, she's the #1 seller on the site. So if you want a safe trade with Aria over at local.bitcoin.com. If you buy from somebody that's got 0 trades, then, it could be a little rough, depending. I'm not saying that everybody with 0 trades is bad, because at some point every seller had 0 trades. So keep that in mind. Local.bitcoin.com. Get on over there. You can get started buying and selling Bitcoin Cash. Virgil Griffith is the man's name. He's 36 years old. He's currently in custody, and they are charging him. I don't even know what the charges. I don't know if it says what the actual name of these charges are here. Charged a cryptocurrency expert with violating economic sanctions. So I guess that's
treason.
That's it. Is that treason? Is that the same thing? If you're dealing with the enemy? If you are, and again, remember the FBI agent who was speaking to the media about this was basically saying that he's empowering them to get nuclear weapons somehow, right? By helping them evade sanctions, that will help them somehow purchase nuclear weapons or develop them. And so therefore, he's putting American lives in jeopardy, and therefore they're going to seek some serious penalties against this guy for this. They're going to try to paint him as a real bad guy, as though he's enabling terrorism, enabling the enemies of the United States. The conference that he spoke at in Pyongyang was only attended by about 100 people. According to prosecutors, they said several appeared to work for the North Korean government. Well, how do they know? Was it streamed online? Or did they have agents at the conference as well? I gotta wonder about that. The criminal complaint says Griffith showed the FBI photographs of himself in North Korea. The head of the hacker magazine 2600, Emmanuel Goldstein, said in a Twitter post that Griffith insisted on speaking to the FBI without an attorney. What's ironic, he said, is that afterwards he was convinced they totally got where he was coming from. Which is really sad. I mean, look, I'm not saying you're a hacker, Johnson, but you've been over the years, you and I, we've both sort of interfaced with some of these people, right?
Presumably I've been contacted by the FBI.
Yeah, well, not the FBI, but hackers.
By the FBI.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Really? Is that something you want to talk about on the air?
I've talked about it on the air before, actually. It was a long time ago. It was when we were in Florida, and I went in a 2600 chat room and...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like an IRC chat room?
Yeah, because somebody had screwed me over. I'd done a bunch of graphic design work for this guy, and...
was he a hacker?
Me and my roommate at the time, no, just... Not even really hacking. We just guessed this guy's password. It was just that obvious.
Was it his dog's name, his girlfriend's name, the word password?
He had like a Disney fan site, and it was like the
Nikki
name
123,
something like that. And so we were like, this guy wasn't going to pay me. He was being real obvious that he was just being a dick, and that he knew he was in the wrong. He didn't care. He wasn't going to,
He got your services and he has the money.
Right, and F you. And we're like, well, okay, we have the password to your website, and we're going to give it out in a hacker channel.
Wow.
So, essentially was what we're going to do, and say, we're not going to do anything to the website, so, we can't get in trouble, but we'll give out the password and let somebody else just take control and just destroy your work. And
if you have the key to someone's house, is it breaking and entering?
Yeah, I don't know, But the FBI sure wanted to let you know.
Really?
Because we did that and immediately got a phone call.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were hanging
it was
out in
within
the chat
5 minutes.
They were hanging out in the chat room.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was really fast.
So they traced your IP address and somehow figured out whose name was on the account with the internet provider and got the cell phone number of that person?
Presumably they contacted the owner of the site. And then got the contact information from him.
Oh.
So, but it was real fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you talk to him?
They kind of talked at me.
Okay. What did they say?
Don't do that. Essentially is what it boiled down to.
So they threatened you, but they didn't actually arrest you.
Yeah, no. It was just like a threat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe because it wasn't actually illegal what you did. I don't know. If it was illegal, then why wouldn't they go ahead and pick you up?
And why would they have warned you not to do it? Because that's just not their. That's not how they do
roll.
business.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Are you sure it was the FBI?
Pretty sure either that or it was somebody claiming to be an FBI who was, white hat hacker.
That could be.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that would have been one of the things where if you'd have gotten the phone number, you could have reverse looked up the phone number and then seen if it was registered to the FBI or something.
But
like
I could see it being something. There are law enforcement officers sometimes will let you go. They'll sometimes let you off with a warning, and that might be what they saw. That they were like, this isn't a hacking incident. This is somebody just sharing somebody's password and understanding the story.
Do that, boy.
Because the story was shared alongside with the password. So
well, maybe they felt sorry for you. Then they're sorry that you got stiffed, and they were just giving you a little warning.
Yeah,
because usually they if they can't catch you in the act, then they can't prove their existence. They can't prove that they're out there protecting the innocent slaves.
Back to the story here. Griffith, again, the man picked up by the FBI in Los Angeles after visiting North Korea. He seemed to think that he'd convinced the FBI that everything was totally fine, and then they arrested him. The U.S. and the UN Security Council have imposed increasingly tight sanctions, this is the AP story, by the way, on North Korea in recent years to try to rein in its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Pyongyang says it wants the U.S. to get their sanctions lifted and provide security guarantees before North Korea will abandon advancing its nuclear arsenal. The U.S. has said the North has to take substantial steps towards denuclearization before the sanctions will come off. And, of course, for those that have been maybe not paying close attention, there have been some meetings between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, so it's okay.
Little Rocket Man.
Well, that's what Trump had called him before they met. Now they're buddies.
Right.
And so it's been almost 2 years, I think, since the first, I think it was maybe a year and a half, probably a year and a half ago. It was April of a year and a half ago, and they had their first meeting, and it was a pretty historic meeting because no president had ever met with one of the supreme rulers of North Korea before. Unfortunately, the ball hasn't really moved ahead, particularly in any kind of a fast method. But there has been some sort of significant symbolic gestures that have been made, but again, nothing has really changed ultimately in North Korea. It's Free Talk Live.
Warning, don't let your business get left behind in what is likely to be the biggest economic boom in recent history. If you need to build for your business to grow, call General Steel today for a pre-engineered steel building designed for your needs. No wasted space. Steel prices are expected to rise, but you can still lock in your price on a General Steel building. And you can still save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. As much as half. But you must call now. If you need a church building, office, warehouse, manufacturing space, retail space, or more, call General Steel today. You can still get the General's 50-year structural warranty and General Steel quality, all at a price you can afford. So don't let rising steel prices put your project out of reach and stop you from making your company great.
800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. 800-965-1295. That's 800-965-1295.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually.
Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me.
What am I being detained for? You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to join us there. Joining you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
Talking about the guy who went over and gave a speech at the Pyongyang Blockchain Conference, talking about Bitcoin and how to use it to evade economic sanctions, which isn't like a secret. Hey, I mean, let's give somebody a speech about Bitcoin that, isn't going to cover anything that people who haven't spent, an hour online to research it don't already know. Now, look, I didn't see the guy's speech, but I can't imagine that he told anybody anything that wasn't already immediately available in 1,000 other online venues. But the fact that he went and did it is enough reason for the federal government to swoop him up and take him into custody.
And the longer we talk about this story, I'm beginning to wonder if we are hearing all the facts. What
do you mean?
What was this guy doing over there? What were his true intentions? Was it just a cryptocurrency meeting, or maybe there was something else going on? Maybe he was muling, or maybe he's an agent
for the feds.
For Singapore, maybe. Who knows?
Well, he lived in Singapore, apparently, but he was a U.S. citizen, and he made the mistake of not only asking permission to go to North Korea, which was subsequently denied. He went anyway, traveled through China to get there, and then gave the speech, then got picked up, and then spoke with the FBI, admitting to them, showing them photographs of himself giving the speech. So proof positive. Guess they didn't have somebody there to take pictures. He went ahead and gave them the evidence that they need to charge him with this stuff. According to Emmanuel Goldstein, the publisher of the hacker magazine 2600, the Hacker Quarterly, he said that he had told him it was a trap, but yet Griffith insisted on speaking to the FBI without an attorney. The U.S. government amended sanctions against North Korea in 2018 to prohibit, quote, a U.S. person wherever located from exporting technology to North Korea. So if you send them any kind of technology, you send a flash drive to North Korea, you are committing a federal crime. Prosecutors said Griffith acknowledged to the FBI that his presentation amounted to a transfer of technical knowledge to conference attendees. I mean, he's just signing his own death warrant here. I mean, you can just imagine they asked him the question, well, wouldn't you agree this is a transfer of technical knowledge to the conference? Why, yes, that's exactly what I intended to do. Okay, you're under arrest. A self-described former hacker who went on to get a doctorate in computer science, Griffith became something of a tech world enfant terrible. What does that mean?
Horrible child.
Okay. In the early 2000s.
Is it for real, Johnson? I hear infant there.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but he told the New York Times in 2008 he considered himself a, quote, disruptive technologist, unquote. In 2007, he created Wikiscanner, a tool that aimed to unmask people who anonymously edited entries in Wikipedia.
So apparently it's a French expression which traditionally refers to... Wikipedia ad. An unruly child, a French expression traditionally referring to a child who is terrifyingly candid by saying embarrassing things to parents or others. However, the expression has drawn multiple usage in careers of art, fashion, music, and other creative arts. In these careers, it implies a successful and often young genius who is very unorthodox, striking, and in some cases, offensive or rebellious.
So he's a loudmouth.
So he's like a French Asperger's.
It's just a French expression.
We should get him on this show.
Well, I mean, if you can get him to call in from jail, I don't know if he's got any bail on this thing yet. They're going to treat him like he is one of the worst of the worst. Wikiscanner essentially could determine the business, institutions, or government agencies that own the computers from which edits of Wikipedia were made. It quickly identified businesses that had sabotaged competitors' entries and government agencies that had rewritten history, among other findings. That's a pretty useful tool. He said at the time in 2007, quote, I'm quite pleased to see the mainstream media enjoying the public relations disaster fireworks as I am. Wikipedia creator Jimmy Wales, for his part, said he welcomed Wikiscanner as a tool of transparency. 4 years earlier, as a college student at the University of Alabama, Griffith and a student at another university were about to tell a hacker conference about a purported security flaws in a widely used campus debit card system when the manufacturer sued them. They had posted online about ways to exploit the alleged flaws to get free vending machine sodas, laundry machine use, and more. A judge barred the students from discussing the card swiping system. In a settlement a few months later, they apologized to the company, promised to never actually build a transaction processing device, and agreed to complete 40 hours of community service. So he's been on the FBI's radar for some time, but he definitely came back on their radar if he wasn't already on it when he asked them permission, asked the federal government permission to go over to North Korea. So there's your story about the guy who is currently sitting in a jail cell for speaking. And I think that's outrageous. I think that he should have been free to make that speech. And if the government doesn't like it, well, too bad. I mean, does free speech mean something or not? Apparently not. Because as long as you've said things the government doesn't like, they come after you. Whether it's this guy or Cody Wilson from Defense Distributed, who was, targeted for selling
what if
gun
he had
plans.
Said everything that he said at this conference in North Korea, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead he said it on U.S. soil, online, and it was streamed to the conference.
To the conference? Probably would be
North
just
Korea.
as illegal.
But how so, right? Because
he's helping them. He's helping them hurt our Americans.
The
with
enemy. The enemy.
You know, another thing I found interesting in the article is that they noticed a few out of 100 attendants.
That's all they said were attending, yeah.
But they said they only noticed a few of them were government employee or government officials.
That's the claim.
So I'm wondering who these other 98 people were.
Yeah, it's not like anybody has internet access over there, so I would think that most of them would be government attendees.
And exactly, that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So who are these other people, and do we actually know what's going on in North Korea? Is my question. Because I mean, we're not allowed to know.
Well, I don't know how they even know. Again, it says here the conference was attended by 100 people, said prosecutors, including several who appeared to work for the North Korean government.
So they might not have been any government employees there.
How do they even know?
Unless they had their own guy there.
That's what I'm saying. Unless the FBI had an undercover agent attending this conference, how would they be able to identify who the attendees were?
And maybe their guy, the guy in the Treasury Department, the OFAC or whatever it was, heard this Griffith. Heard him talking, maybe he was leaking some information that he shouldn't have. And
I'd love to see the presentation.
I would too.
I don't know if it's online or anything like that, but
if they're like the FBI and they're not allowed to record interviews, presentations, and it's just their say at the end of the day, they will never know.
Well, I mean,
and neither will the judge or a jury.
He obviously gave a presentation. He admitted that much.
Right.
I mean, he's dug his own grave here as far as the criminal charges are concerned. He's going to go to prison, likely, on whatever these charges are of, being a bad boy going to North Korea charges. So it's tragic. The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. So far tonight, we've covered some pretty outrageous stories. One, the guy who he's in jail indefinitely. He's in essentially the equivalent of Guantanamo Bay. I mean, maybe they're not torturing him because it says he was working in the jail kitchen or whatever. So, I mean, it's probably not as bad as Guantanamo Bay, but he's living in jail forever because they don't have anywhere to send him and they don't want to let him out, even though he's actually never harmed anybody. That's the first story we covered. And now you got a guy who's been arrested for simply giving a speech. And I think it's just tragic. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I wonder if Dennis Rodman went to this conference, if he would have gotten away with it.
Great question. How come it's okay for Dennis Rodman to go over and teach basketball camp?
Well, he's not spilling secrets that we don't want them to have because it'll help their economic issues that they're suffering.
You're also not allowed to make memes. That's another thing that's happening.
You've got a related story on this.
Wait, this is like the Winnie the Pooh Bear almost, or it's North Korea?
Nope, it's the United States, and the Justice Department is going after a graphic designer who used to make memes for WikiLeaks.
Oh, well, you can't. You can make memes, just not for the wrong groups.
Well, right.
You can't speak to the wrong people. You can't make memes to support the wrong websites. We're going to talk about that story coming up here, Johnson. You've got it for us on the way. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we got a full hour to go here. Plenty of time for you if you want to join us. Plus, if we get the chance, we'll talk about the dollars that are invading Venezuela. I'd rather have that happen than troops. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. The Meme Wars comes up here next on Free Talk Live.
business owners. You want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Would it be nice to wake in the morning whenever you want and work whenever you feel like it? Date women under your terms instead of society's? Be a completely free man? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,477, silver at $17.17, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,303. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, this week, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation issued a warning about the popular smartphone photo application FaceApp, along with every other app developed in Russia, calling them a potential counterintelligence threat. The investigation was prompted by warnings from Democratic U.S. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer this July that the app was suspect because it was made in Russia. Schumer posted the FBI's letter to his Twitter profile with a statement that basically implied, "I told you so." However, it doesn't seem there was much of an actual investigation into the technical aspects of the application, considering that the statement suggested that any app or product developed in Russia, like FaceApp, is a potential counterintelligence threat. Ian Thornton Trump, intelligence service expert and CompTIA faculty member, told Forbes that the statement is out of touch and assumes that FaceApp is a threat simply due to its country of origin. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The internet is once again in an uproar after yet another employee of another restaurant offended a cop. Starbucks, who has been under fire for being pro-police, is now in the media after a barista printed a coffee label for a police officer with the word pig on it. In a crazy twist, the daughter of the police chief, who made the incident public, took to Twitter to voice her opinion on her dad, which is that he absolutely is a pig. That's a quote from her. The Mind Unleashed reports that over the weekend, the chief of police in Kiefer, Oklahoma, Chief Johnny O'Mara, took to Facebook to publicly blast Starbucks for their anti-police barista. In a now-deleted post, O'Mara said one of his officers tracked to Starbucks to get coffee for a dispatcher when he received the insulting label, which read pig. Chief O'Mara called the coffee shop, and employees there offered to replace the coffee with a correct label. But that wasn't enough, according to the Post. The chief used his pulpit to claim that those who call police officers pigs want to burn down society. A bill filed in the New Jersey Assembly would allow utility customers in the state to opt out of installing smart meter technology on homes and businesses. Passage of the bill would enable New Jersey residents to protect their own privacy, and it would take a step toward blocking a federal program in effect. Activist Post reports a bipartisan coalition of 3 Assembly members introduced Assembly Bill 5884 on November 14th. The legislation would create an option for New Jersey utility customers to opt out of any utility company smart meter program with no penalty. Smart meters monitor home energy usage in minute detail in real time. The devices transmit data to the utility company where it gets stored in databases. Anybody with access to the data can download it for analysts. Without specific criteria limiting access to the data, the devices create significant privacy issues. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
In an unsettling video released over the web this week, Buddhist extremist cell Kamathana vowed to unleash a massive wave of serenity and nirvana all across the West. Members of the group threatened to implement such severe measures as tranquil chanting, meditation sessions, and eye-opening koans, and assured U.S. leaders of the group's absolute commitment to engulfing Americans in complete and unyielding enlightenment. Here now is a clip from the video.
We will not cease until every city, from New York to London, succumbs to a state of spiritual harmony. Prepare yourself.
Sources confirm that the Pentagon responded to the film by ordering immediate tactical bombings throughout Tibet. And in tech news, the inventor of the Gromdar says he's determined to put a Gromdar in every American home. In other news, a woman who had almost formed a healthy sense of self joined social media, and an area man can remember exactly where he was and what he was doing when he assassinated John F. Kennedy.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
And, of course, you can bring up anything that you want. We've been talking about some pretty outrageous news headlines here tonight. Man is being detained forever inside the United States, the first time ever under the Patriot Act. We discussed that in the first hour of the program. Now, another guy being arrested and held for who knows how long, charged criminally for going and giving a presentation about Bitcoin technology in North Korea. So you can give presentations about Bitcoin technology anywhere else in the world except for North Korea. Probably they wouldn't like it if he went to Iran. Anywhere where there's sanctions against, you're not supposed to go and do that, they say. And so he's facing criminal charges for engaging in freedom of speech. And now another freedom of speech related crackdown. Johnson, you've got a story that we're going to get into here about a meme designer who has been targeted by the feds.
Yep, the Department of Justice. But this, I don't know necessarily if it's a freedom of speech violation in terms of like a constitutional freedom of speech violation, because this person is based out of the UK.
Let's talk
However,
about it.
the attack is on a United States-based company. So Google LLC Legal Investigations recently informed WikiLeaks meme graphic designer Somerset Bean his Gmail account information had been handed over to the United States Department of Justice.
I want to get into it further, but let's bring Bad Slave on the line here. Bad Slave, you're on, calling from New Hampshire on the Discord lines. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for taking my call, gentlemen. I want to say that, where's the ACLU on any of this?
They commented on the story at the beginning of the beginning of the show. The guy that's been detained forever. They're against that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it should be a simple thing. Is he releasing any IP? I mean, the government defines what's proper IP and what's not.
IP meaning intellectual property?
Exactly.
Are you referring to the story we talked about the last hour about the programmer or the hacker who went and spoke in North Korea? Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly. Yes. So
I don't think that's exactly what's prohibited. It's any kind of aid to the so-called adversary or the enemy.
But aid would be anything that, in fact, somebody couldn't just find out on their own.
Well, good luck making that argument in court.
Well, if it's common data, if it's released data, I mean, talking about it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I agree with you in theory.
It's just another source, and I'm sorry, a federal government of any kind anywhere that plays these kinds of games is just barking up the wrong tree. These people are
But don't you understand, Bad Slave? They have to make a statement. They have to make sure people know that this will not be tolerated in the land of the free. You can't just go around and speak.
Well, there you go. I mean,
It's
how absurd. How absurd is that, sir?
It's the maximum absurdity. I mean, it's the First Amendment to the Constitution, to the Bill of Rights, because it's supposed to be the most important one. And it's just being violated on the claim that, oh my God, North Korea.
The vast majority of federal law in the U.S. of A is unconstitutional on the face of it and ought to be void and not subject to any charges or prosecution. The people should just be all over this,
They won't be, because they also, Ross Ulbricht's in prison too. There's plenty of people. How about Barrett Burnett, who was it Burnett? I forget the last name of the guy, but there was a guy, Barrett Brown, that was it, who was arrested for sharing a link in an IRC chat room on the internet.
Well, didn't they go after this other guy too that killed himself?
Which guy that killed
recently, himself? Scott or something like that.
You're gonna have to give me more than that, man. I'm sure there's people. I'm sure a few Scots have killed themselves recently.
Yeah.
Hey, Bad Slave, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate it. I mean, I wish people were upset about these things, but the guy going over to North Korea is just the latest example of somebody using free speech who has been thrown to the wolves by the FBI. Ross Ulbricht programmed a website, and he is in prison for the rest of his life. 2 life sentences, as a matter of fact, plus 40 years. You can go to freeross.org and learn all about that. They've got a really great documentary there that they put together. It's video, it's audio. There's a text version with links and useful data and information to really kind of inform you on all about that case.
If more people knew about stories like this, there might be more people who were outraged.
Maybe.
Except, guess what? Our media, the big mainstream media, the MSM, they are not covering these types of stories.
No,
you might get something like this on Democracy Now!, but who watches that?
If they cover Ross Ulbricht's story, it's always like, the Silk Road was the first evil cryptocurrency Bitcoin website selling heroin.
And you can even hire assassins.
Yeah, which you couldn't on the Silk Road. That was not an option there. But regardless, dude's been thrown down the well. And I'm sorry, programming a website is freedom of speech. Making memes is freedom of speech. Johnson, so what happened here? They came after Gmail. They came after Google, the feds, because somebody was working for Wikipedia making memes for them. Or WikiLeaks, sorry.
Right. So Bean is based in the United Kingdom, and apparently he was notified by Google when they became permitted to disclose the receipt of the legal process by U.S. authorities.
Because that's another thing. If you get a notice from the federal government, sometimes that notice says you can't tell anybody about it, or you get charged for telling someone about it.
So Google was not allowed to talk about it
for some amount of time
until they were permitted.
Right.
By the way, do you have examples of any of these memes?
I don't know.
Why do you have to pay anyone to make memes for you? All you got to do is just get online and be like, hey, I got an idea, guys. Go with it.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would think WikiLeaks would be able to get some pretty killer memes for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nowadays, maybe not when they started, though.
Okay.
Because memes were kind of just started.
And when we say memes, we're talking about pictures with
graphics.
words on them.
I mean, you still need graphic designers to create them, so... I mean, it's just that nowadays everyone knows Photoshop and everyone can do it.
Well, now there's meme generators online where you just upload the photo and then that meme text is there.
Also did not exist in the early 2000s.
You're a little clueless on the history of your meme. You got know your own meme.
That's a great site.
So
beautiful.
Google said that they could not discuss the substance of the legal process.
Wow.
Finally received my badge of honor, being posted, with notice that Google have handed over information related to my Google account to the U.S. Department of Justice. You think Assange's case is just about Assange? Think again. The online giant.
Sure. Assange is just the symbol. Yeah. He's just the most visible aspect of WikiLeaks.
Yeah. The online giant did not offer context as to why Bean's account was targeted and instead referred him to an agency reference number or case number on the legal process and then provides 1:18-SC-02921. WikiLeaks was one of the earliest and most controversial news outlets / political watchdog groups to utilize cryptocurrency after famously being cut off from legacy finance, effectively attempting to starve the nonprofit out of existence.
One of the best things that probably could have happened to them because they held on to that coin. They held on to the Bitcoin.
Bean attempted to locate the case number provided through Google, finding search results revealed sealed versus sealed.
What?
Case is not available to the public. A follower found that, in fact, the case number appears tucked in a seizure warrant dating back to September of last year. That, in turn, referenced the infamous Mueller investigation, 233 pages of which have been posted online as well.
There's more.
There's more.
Okay, so a meme designer had his Google account handed over to the federal government. Google saying, we can tell you that much, but we can't really tell you anything else about the notice that was sent to us.
And somehow it's tied to the Mueller investigation.
855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. What free speech?
Acapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com.
What good is living in a free society if you don't live a free life? Being stuck in a job or being locked into a relationship, but you're not free to do what you want. I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You bring up anything you want here, talking about freedom of speech, or at least bemoaning the fact that it doesn't exist anymore. 855-450-FREE. You can join us on the radio here. And also want to make sure you know about Edge Wallet. It is a cryptocurrency wallet, and it's my favorite one. It's the one that I use more often than any other. Went to the Indian restaurant here in town tonight and spent my dash with my Edge Wallet. In fact, Edge Wallet will support multiple cryptos like Bitcoin, BTC, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Stellar, and more. You can go to secure your freedom by downloading Edge Wallet. You can get it for iOS and Android devices. It allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies. Again, it's Edge Wallet. Go to edge.app if you want to visit their website and learn more about the technology behind Edge. I love it for new users because it's a username and password-based setup rather than the 12 or 24 words that most backup phrases are for cryptocurrency wallets. So it's a lot simpler for people to get started with. And even if you're an expert, I don't want to say I'm an expert, but I'm experienced, I'll say that, with cryptocurrency. And it's still my favorite wallet because it's just so easy to use. Go to edge.app and secure your freedom with the Edge Wallet. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
All right, so Johnson, what was this guy's name from Wikileaks?
Let me scroll back up here.
They targeted
Somerset Bean.
I don't know if that's his real name, but he's from the UK, so it could be.
Yeah.
They targeted this guy for making memes for WikiLeaks. And they came after his Google account. Google finally, and we don't know how long it was between when they sent Google the notice and when Google was finally able to legally reveal the fact that they had been sent that notice. to this person. I guess really the question is...
The interesting fact here, I think, though, is this, that, they were attempting to locate the case number provided through Google, right?
The dude was attempting, right?
Yeah. And finding search results revealed sealed versus sealed, right? Case is not available to the public. So it's just like completely, what is this?
Well, he's not a U.S. citizen, so are they even obligated to have a public case against him?
I don't know, but I mean, it's sort of interesting that they're providing him this information and then it's sealed, but then found that the case number is apparently tucked in a seizure warrant dating back to September of last year, which in turn referenced the Mueller investigation, that's because, of course, 233 pages of it have been posted online, and so that's how they were able to locate that information and find that out. And it's apparently, it says BAH, sealed information associated with redacted, stored at premises controlled by redacted. So,
wow.
Really interesting. So, I guess it here says that landmark report was the product of special inquiry into the 2016 presidential election and alleged meddling by Russia in manipulating election results, along with determining if the Trump campaign and subsequent administration violated applicable laws. WikiLeaks is widely considered by law enforcement.
Which they found they had not, right?
Yeah. WikiLeaks is widely considered by law enforcement to have been in cahoots with Russian intelligence, or at least hostile to Trump's then rival Hillary Clinton due to the media organization's release of private emails, which is ridiculous. I mean, they were trying to leak all government secrets to leak the truth.
WikiLeaks would have leaked Russian secrets too.
Yep.
If WikiLeaks had been given, and they've leaked secrets about other governments, we just don't hear about those reports.
Yeah,
the news doesn't make it out when WikiLeaks reveals that the president of Ecuador is corrupt. But that's the reason why they got rid of Julian Assange out of the Ecuadorian embassy.
Yeah.
Because
it's these chuckleheads with an agenda in the government that are looking to it's Russian. They were in cahoots with Russians because they were attacking our beloved Hillary.
What were you saying, Conan?
I was just going to say it's not Russia anymore. It's Ukraine.
Yeah, whatever.
It's changed.
So the messages therein contain supposedly damaging and embarrassing information that might have turned U.S. voters against Clinton and toward Trump, a popular theory held. Almost no data in my Google account. As I very rarely use it, being explained, but obviously indicates some level of investigation beyond that. He attributed the Department of Justice interest in his activities to three things: vocal and active supporter of WikiLeaks and Assange for 10 years, was in a Twitter DM group that includes @WikiLeaks, and visited Assange several times at the embassy.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Julian Assange co-founded WikiLeaks and was a target of Hillary Clinton for years, including public death threats, and is now awaiting possible extradition to the U.S. while being incarcerated in the U.K.
Another tragic anti-free speech case, Julian Assange, to be extradited. I mean, if the U.S. gets its way, and of course the U.K. is likely to do the bidding of the United States. It hasn't happened yet, but extradition processes can take a long time. I mean, Kim.com. Kim.com, thank you, from Mega Upload. He's still fighting extradition. And that raid was like 2011 when remember the helicopter SWAT team came into his mansion and arrested him and in front of his family or whatever. It's a horrifying story. He's still trying to avoid being extradited. So this could take another decade or half a decade or whatever, all the while Julian Assange is being held in captivity in likely torturous conditions. So this dude in the UK, he hasn't been arrested, right? They just wanted to get access to his Gmail account.
Yeah, his Gmail account.
And they did.
Yep.
And as he pointed out,
was forced to hand it over.
He didn't really have anything there anyway. And that's a good tip. Again, another tip for you. If there's important things that you have, don't store them on Google. Don't put them in your email
large
box.
Platforms that you don't control.
Exactly. Put it on...
Or if it is on a large platform that you don't control, make sure that it's super, super encrypted.
Encrypted, yeah.
And then in which case, I almost would recommend that you have it on a large platform so that they waste a bunch of time
trying to
decrypt it.
So, but yeah, these are basic tips here, but they're important because some people don't think about this stuff. They just think, oh, I've got my Gmail account. Oh, sure, just send whatever. Okay, if it's not encrypted, then you might as well just presume it's being read. Whether it's being read by Google to sell you advertising, which is the sort of the primary purpose of Gmail. That's why they give it to you. That's why Gmail's free, is because they want to sell you sell advertising to other companies that then want to sell you products. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, mind you. I think that's totally fine. That's the price you pay for a free email address. But if the government wants to get into it, Google is not going to stand in their way very firmly. They're going to get into it. And Google doesn't have any kind of built-in encryption. So the only way you're going to be able to protect your emails is if they are encrypted, say, by PGP encryption. And that takes extra steps.
Yep.
You know, if you want to protect information, you have to take extra steps. Do what Johnson's suggesting, and you got files on your Google Drive you want to protect? Put them in an encrypted file folder. Now, Johnson, do you recommend any kind of encryption process?
No, I mean, to be honest, I don't do it very much myself. There's not a lot that I care about protecting for the most part, so I just, don't do things online if you don't really. That's the best thing.
Originally,
air gap.
TrueCrypt was supposed to be a very good encryption system. Then they went under mysteriously.
Right.
People believed that they were essentially come after by the government.
Right.
And there's been a new one that's kind of taken over in their stead called VeraCrypt. I don't know if they're any good. I have not read of any audits. I don't know, to what extent the code's been audited of VeraCrypt. But those might be two starting points for people that are interested in that stuff. More coming up here, Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
You ever feel like you're in jail, a virtual jail, because of your job or maybe your current relationship, where you're not allowed to do what you really want? I'm Caleb Jones, and I've taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Come to our free webinar with a live Q&A with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar. and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agoristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agoristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agoristhosting.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. In the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Conan.
Of course, you can bring up anything you want. More dollars entering into Venezuela. They say there are more dollars in circulation there than Bolivar, which is a shocking thing to say. But first, have you heard of Caleb Jones? He's the creator of Alpha Male 2.0. And he is teamed up with Free Talk Live to host a free live webinar coming up on December 10th at 8 p.m. So that's 1 week from today. You can register for it right now over at alpha.freetalklive.com. Caleb has taught hundreds and thousands of men, hundreds of thousands, say, what they say, to create location-independent income and date women under their terms. Caleb asks questions like, 1, what good is living in a free society if you don't live a free life? 2, have you ever wanted to work when you wanted to work instead of having to report to an office? 3, have you felt trapped by relationship rules like monogamy? To some, what Caleb teaches is controversial. However, he's not creating sound bites for shock value. He believes deeply in the Alpha 2.0 way of life, and he wants to help you be more than just a beta male or even more than an alpha male. He wants to help you become an Alpha Male 2.0. You can attend Caleb's free live webinar on Tuesday, December 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or register now at alpha.freetalklive.com. That's alpha.freetalklive.com. So, Johnson, you've been telling us this story, and I don't know if is there more to it, or we pretty much covered that?
It's done. It's covered.
About a guy who had his Gmail account taken from him by Google at the behest of the federal government. Now, nothing has happened to him since then. We want the account. It's ours now.
Yeah.
That's it. Will they let him back into it? It doesn't matter. He doesn't really care anyway, because as he pointed out, there wasn't really anything that he was storing in the account that was particularly
Will
important.
they be going
to
after him for extradition? That's the next question.
Over meme making? It wouldn't surprise me at this point. I mean, putting a website together has gotten people put in prison. Ross Ulbricht is one example. They went after the guys who did Backpage. Do you remember that website? I didn't spend any time there, but as I understand it, that was one of those places where you could go and find like sexy personal ads that might be a front for prostitution, those kinds of things. But they weren't advertising for prostitution. They were just allowing people to advertise their services on their website. Again, creating a website is illegal in the United States. And I think that's important. It bears repeating, and unfortunately, we're probably going to have the chance to repeat it because they're likely going to continue to arrest people for running websites. I mean, I don't think I'm going out on a limb here with that prediction. That seems pretty likely at this point. So, anyway, if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's change gears, Conan. Mandela Effect, Game of the Week. Where do you want to start?
Game of the Week is a tease this week for next week, and that is I just picked up, and by the way, you have one. This is the last evening for the autumn Steam sale. One of the games I recommended a couple of weeks ago is like $2 right now.
Which game?
Evil Genius.
Oh, that's the one you. Yeah, okay.
Right now I'm playing Fallout 4. Believe it or not, I know it's been out forever, and I don't hate it.
Did you expect to?
Well, I do watch reviews. I do watch a lot of purists.
Had you played the previous Fallout games?
I've played all of the previous Fallouts, including
1 and 2?
Including 1 and 2.
Wow, I never played those. I started with 3, and it was great.
My takeaway is the mods that I'm using, which I'll be reviewing, and which are making the game a lot better, and the fact that I went straight into survival mode.
Define what that is.
Survival is almost Iron Man. It is
no saving.
Well, you can only save when you sleep.
Okay.
That's it.
But can't you sleep pretty much anywhere where there's no enemies?
No. It's not like Skyrim or something. You have to sleep.
There's got to be a bed, right?
You have to sleep in a bed or a sleeping bag.
Right.
All right. You take 200% damage, and you only give.
Whoa.
And you only do 50%. Yeah. So the damage you give and the damage you take is just incredibly increased.
Serious.
So
wow, that's intense.
So you're one shots.
Is it also one of those things where you've got to eat food to stay alive?
Oh yeah, you've got to monitor your hydration and your eating. Yeah.
Normally that's not in the game. Normally all you got to do is sleep and then you're good, right? That's it.
Correct. This is straight up survival, and there's a lot of survival games out there, and I think that this mode really has done well.
That's intense.
It's intense.
Now, when did you start playing this? How many hours into the game?
I've got about 20 hours in right now.
Okay, so this is something you can talk about pretty significantly at this point, right? 20 hours is a good chunk of of Fallout.
Because you have to pace yourself so slowly.
Well, right, because of the survival
that
mode.
I'm still in the entryway.
Really?
I'm only at Concord right now.
Have you gotten to Diamond City? You haven't gotten to Diamond City or anything like that?
No, that's way over there. I'm in Concord.
Damn.
I'm in Concord. I just finished the power armor.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's the first city.
Okay,
right?
For next week, I'll have lots to talk about. Survival mode and the mods that I'm using.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Fallout. I mean, Johnson, are you familiar with this series at all?
I'm familiar with it. I played a little bit of Fallout 3, but I have not gone past it. I've not played New Vegas.
You've never beaten Fallout 3?
No.
Okay. I did play through both Fallout 3 and New Vegas. I thought New Vegas was the better of the two, but Fallout 3 was an excellent game. I really enjoyed both of those. Fallout 4, I also liked that game. And the reason I got into these games is because they're very similar to the Elder Scrolls series, which they're made by the same company now, but the Elder Scrolls, for those that aren't familiar, it's a first-person kind of, I don't know, fantasy, swords and axes and beasts and
I don't
whatever.
have the patience for the RPGs. I like Assassin's Creed style, Grand Theft Auto style, that's more fast-paced for me. It's same perspective, right, in terms of character. You can still, even especially with Assassin's Creed, you're leveling up a character. But when it comes to the combat style in Fallout 3, I've always, if you go into the freestyle combat, right, in Fallout...
Use VATS.
VATS is a system that allows you to slow down time.
Right, which is
to shoot people.
Tedious. Extremely tedious, right?
But
you have to use VATS, right? Because if you don't use VATS, you're going to run out of ammo and you're going to be broke the entire game trying to keep up with ammo. But if you do use VATS, then the game is just awful and tedious, in my opinion.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it bothers me immensely. It's
I love it.
So slow.
Wait, but you like building games. You like Minecraft and stuff like that.
Sure, right.
All right, Fallout 4, yeah.
Is more like that.
You can build settlements.
Yeah. So I have seen a little bit of that, but
that's my least. That's
my
least favorite part of the game.
It's fun. I love scrapping. I love
so
finding stuff.
If you like that, then I would strongly recommend a game that's a little bit less known. 7 Days to Die.
It's on my list and it's on sale right now. And I decided I think it's only 60%, and I'm usually a 75-80%.
Is this another survival kind of game?
It's a survival. It's definitely a survival game.
Every 7 days, you get hit by an increasingly strong horde
of zombies
that try to break into your establishment.
Is it first person?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yep.
And you gotta set up defenses or something.
Yeah, it's like Minecraft. So every single block in the game is destructible, and you can build all these different devices and.
Well, in this game, you can have turrets and defenses.
It's basically like if you took Fallout 4 and Minecraft and put them together, probably.
Yeah, see, I've never played Minecraft, and I don't think it would really appeal to me.
The way people have historically described it is if Left 4 Dead and Minecraft had a baby.
See, they also have that Fortnite game that's been real, like, hugely popular over the last couple of years, and I did try that out just because it was such a phenomenon. Like, all right, what's all the hype about with this game? And I've heard that described as Minecraft plus a first-person shooter or something like that.
I would say Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead, 7 Days to Die is not going to be as fun if you're not playing with a group of people.
Okay.
Because it's like a community game. Like, you're going out on...
That's what's nice about the Fallout games is they're good single-player games.
Yeah, this, not so much.
This is a game you can turn them off when you're done, when you needed to go do something.
This is a game where you're going to want to be playing with other people, communicating. You guys can go and, like, clear houses together.
Yeah, I just don't do those games.
Not anymore.
More coming up here. We can talk more about Game of the Week, Fallout 4, also Conan has a
friends.
Mandela effect. There's more on the way here. You can take control of the airwaves. It's Free Talk Live.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
We all hear the stories in the news. The good guy uses a gun to protect his family from criminals, and he's the one arrested. The legal system is not fair, and responsibly armed Americans are political targets. So here's how you can take a simple and rewarding journey to complete self-defense confidence. Simply text GCN to 87222. To discover how the USCCA can give you the training, education, legal, and financial protection you need to truly protect the people you love. Don't risk everything and leave your family vulnerable. Now it's time to prepare and protect yourself. So if you're ready to take your next step as a responsibly armed American, you're ready to truly become your family's ultimate protector. Text GCN to 87222. Discover your life-saving USCCA member benefits today. Again, that's text GCN to 87222.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're doing a little video game geekery here with Ian Johnson and Conan, as Conan is sharing his Game of the Week preview, because you're only
20 hours isn't enough. I need more time.
You're 20 hours into Fallout 4, but you haven't even gotten out of the first city. And that's not because you aren't good. That's because you're playing like insane survival mode where you have to drink, you have to eat, you have to. You were just saying during the break, you have to sneak around everywhere.
I had to figure out antibiotics so I could cure insomnia. Which, by the way, that's kind of silly, by the way. But yeah, I couldn't sleep. Oh, you had to sleep on a regular mode, or else you get just all these weird sicknesses and illnesses, and it's
bad.
real. It's
That's
real.
Bad. That's crazy.
It's kind of funny too, because everything you're saying there too is part of this other game that's been around in development for many years.
Is it one of those games where they're not even done with it yet, where it's still in development?
Is this Rust, or is this 7 Days to Die?
7 Days to Die.
Which is by the way, I kind of skipped over it because I was watching reviews.
Yeah,
and it's like it used to be really good, and now no one's taking care of it anymore.
Well,
and
no. You're watching reviews.
It's backwards.
You're watching reviews for the console edition, because the console, there was a legal battle,
right?
And they lost control of it in that whole Telltale Games thing. When Telltale Games went out of business, Telltale Games somehow had the rights to the console version of 7 Days to Die, and so there was like a whole thing where they couldn't update. They still can't update the game.
Kids, why can't we just all go PC? Why do you even mess around with a You can't do anything. You can't mod, or if you do, it's
I don't know. I first played Fallout
limited.
3 on the PlayStation 3, and it was a great game.
But I gotta say, my favorite overall early access game. There's an early access game that's been in development, but they're in a really quick development cycle, and the game is not very buggy. I haven't experienced very many bugs, and it's beautiful as Satisfactory.
That's the name of the game?
That's the name of the game, and it's awesome. It's a fun game, and it's just so pretty.
It's satisfactory.
Yeah, it's it's extremely satisfactory.
Speaking of taking care of your health, Washington politicians are making decisions about you and your family's health care. And if you're sick of it and sick of Obamacare, which, as you are told, was going to help you get affordable health care with a choice, which in reality has turned to high-priced insurance with little choice, the team at BetterPlans.net believed there was a better way to do health insurance, and they figured it out. Call 800-714-1802. They'll send you a free stim pack. I'm kidding. That's not real. To get a fast and free quote. The truth is that you can get affordable health care plans that cost hundreds of dollars less per month. However, the first step is to become aware of how the wool's being pulled over your eyes. You can download their free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, at betterplans.net. Check out their sample pricing for plans, which are every bit as good as the major providers' plans, for as little as $145 a month for single, and even greater savings available for families and businesses. You'll get access to their educational videos and a free quote, plus your free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, at betterplans.net. Obamacare's enrollment deadline is December 15th. Don't delay. Visit betterplans.net or call 800-714-1802, betterplans.net or 800-714-1802. I just want to comment on this early access concept. I just find this so offensive. Having been around, we're kind of a little on the older side compared to younger gamers, right? I mean, we're in our late 30s and early 40s and that kind of thing here.
It depends on the game to me. But
let's define what it is.
Sure.
As I understand it, I've never bought one of these things, but I've heard about them. You can now pay to access alpha and beta quality games, meaning games that are not yet finished. They're still being developed.
You're helping to develop the game.
That used to be what it was when you joined a beta and you did it for free. It used to be back in the day, hey, you want to come join Ultima Online? We've got a beta.
Back in the day, the game studios were huge single entities, right? Now, if you're a game studio and you're competing against EA or, name another huge game studio, and you're a tiny nobody and you want to have a game that has the quality to compete and you want to hire developers, you have to make money.
Ian, I'm okay if the tiny developers are doing it. If EA did it, I would take issue.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it was beta and I was playing for free to beta check their game.
Okay, and that's an interesting argument. I had not heard it come at that from that perspective, but I've also heard that some of these games just stay in beta forever.
Yeah,
and it's
some
just,
of them do. Yep, and that's absolutely true.
Like, I mean, how much money are people paying to be a beta tester? Like, back when we were, growing up or whatever, betas used to be a free thing that you did. You were helping find bugs. You were playing a relatively playable version of the game. Isn't it true that some of these early access is actually alpha tests?
Some of them, but
which are basically unplayable.
Let me say this though. It comes down to just look at the reviews, right? Because so some of these games, are in early access, and I would be in the same boat as you and be really annoyed by it if the game weren't. So during that old time frame of games, when games were in development, that development process was slow. Things weren't happening to games. You'd buy a game and then that would pretty much be it. And even if a game's in development, it would be like months or years, things between that. Games nowadays, for some of these games, when they release an update, there's like massive game-altering new features that get added to these games as they're being developed, and it's like a cycle of sometimes some games it's every couple weeks, every couple months, but they're really seriously updating the games. It's not like, and if it were something like that where the game just was lackluster and wasn't getting any updates, wasn't getting any development, then yeah, that would really kind of stink.
I mean, I don't have as much of an objection to the fundraisers, like where Indiegogo or whatever, these online fundraising, Kickstarters and things like that. And I guess in that case, you're paying for nothing, because at that point, you're just paying for a promise of a game someday, right? Like, you'll get a copy of the game when we release it, and you'll get a T-shirt or whatever. So I guess you've made a strong argument here, Johnson, but at least with the Indiegogos and the Kickstarters, you're paying a set amount. Okay, I'm going to come in at $20 level. I'm going to come in at $100 level, and you get a certain set of things for that. With the early access, what is a typical early access price? Like, you're paying for the 7 days to, what was it?
No, it's Satisfactory.
Satisfactory? So Satisfactory, I think I paid $19.99 for.
One time?
Yeah, one time.
So you don't have to pay monthly?
Oh, no.
Are some of them monthly, or is it, how does it, what's the structure on these things?
I mean, it depends on the game. So, I don't know. I'm not paying for any of those games. That I'm not doing.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that some of them are just a one-time pay. Yeah. That's less objectionable to me, because I got the impression that you're paying ongoing. To be part of this ongoing thing. So you get your ticket and then you're in. That's what you're saying. And do you get the full copy when the game actually is released?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's. The game is being updated, iteratively. So, like, you're downloading an update, and it updates the game, that kind of thing.
So, Fallout 4, Conan, you're playing on hardcore survival mode. Any thoughts on the game itself so far compared to its predecessors?
It's prettier.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
now the biggest difference is the text, your dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
You have an option. They've made it console friendly, so you've got the 4 options. Every other Fallout, you had a whole tree of options of dialogue, and you don't have that any longer. So that's missing. But I'm having fun surviving.
Yeah.
And so I really don't need that aspect of the old. I'll just load up Fallout New Vegas if I want to have those hundreds and hundreds of different options, and 10 different endings and the whole night. Well, I'm sure there's multiple endings for this game as well.
Yeah.
But no, I think.
Although that's one of the areas this game fails in compared to its predecessor, and I won't get into too much detail. But you're basically forced to choose sides later, and I don't like that.
Correct. And I've already read some reviews that say if you're going to do survival, stay away from some of the guild quests. because
you can't survive them.
You can't survive them yet. you have to wait a little longer.
I will say there is a game that I've been a little bothered by that was, that I bought in $150, donated to a Kickstarter.
Woo, okay.
Yeah, so I was really interested in this game. Star Citizen, released
I've heard
by
about
the guy who
didn't they raise like $200 million or something like that?
No, their original goal on Kickstarter was $500,000. They've raised over $250 million.
What?
And it's they started their Kickstarter in 2013. Well, guys, it's almost 2020. The game still hasn't released.
Oh my god!
Now the updates they do
And they're
look like they're
still
still
getting money.
developing, and it does look incredible. But I don't know, when's it coming out?
Yeah, isn't this the guy who did the old
Wing Commander
games?
Yep.
So he knows what he's
absolutely.
He's got pedigree or whatever,
Yeah.
but.
I hope it's, there's been a lot of stuff. There's been some really sketchy things that have happened around it. But.
Tune in next week, same time, same channel for more of Conan's Game of the Week. Meanwhile, we'll see you online, freetalklive.com.
And maybe a Mandela.
And libertyminded.com. There's a crazy sale going on there. Is it still going on, Johnson?
Yeah, there's still a sale going on. I'm letting it go on for the listeners so that a little bit longer here.
Get over there. Get some amazing shirts at a discount.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've always been high energy, just going. And I turned 40 last November, and I was tired all the time. Now, taking the Balance of Nature, I just feel good. I have energy when I get home to still wrestle with my kids and do the honeydews at home. Nice. I can tell that it just restored me to feeling normal, which is great.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an additional $25 on your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,477, silver at $17.17, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,303. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, this week, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation issued a warning about the popular smartphone photo application FaceApp, along with every other app developed in Russia, calling them a potential counterintelligence threat. The investigation was prompted by warnings from Democratic U.S. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer this July that the app was suspect because it was made in Russia. Schumer posted the FBI's letter to his Twitter profile with a statement that basically implied, "I told you so." However, it doesn't seem there was much of an actual investigation into the technical aspects of the application, considering that the statement suggested that any app or product developed in Russia, like FaceApp, is a potential counterintelligence threat. Ian Thornton Trump intelligence service expert and CompTIA faculty member, told Forbes that the statement is out of touch and assumes that FaceApp is a threat simply due to its country of origin. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The internet is once again in an uproar after yet another employee of another restaurant offended a cop. Starbucks, who has been under fire for being pro-police, is now in the media after a barista printed a coffee label for a police officer with the word pig on it. In a crazy twist, the daughter of the police chief, who made the incident public, took to Twitter to voice her opinion on her dad, which is that he absolutely is a pig. That's a quote from her. The Mind Unleashed reports that over the weekend, the chief of police in Kiefer, Oklahoma, Chief Johnny O'Mara, took to Facebook to publicly blast Starbucks for their anti-police barista. In a now-deleted post, O'Mara said one of his officers tracked to Starbucks to get coffee for a dispatcher when he received the insulting label, which read pig. Chief O'Mara called the coffee shop, and employees there offered to replace the coffee with a correct label. But that wasn't enough, according to the Post. The chief used his pulpit to claim that those who call police officers pigs want to burn down society. A bill filed in the New Jersey Assembly would allow utility customers in the state to opt out of installing smart meter technology on homes and businesses. Passage of the bill would enable New Jersey residents to protect their own privacy, and it would take a step toward blocking a federal program in effect. Activist Post reports a bipartisan coalition of 3 Assembly members introduced Assembly Bill 5884 on November 14th. The legislation would create an option for New Jersey utility customers to opt out of any utility company smart meter program with no penalty. Smart meters monitor home energy usage in minute detail in real time. The devices transmit data to the utility company where it gets stored in databases. Anybody with access to the data can download it for analysts. Without specific criteria limiting access to the data, the devices create significant privacy issues. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A flash flood warning is in effect, and authorities are asking people to stay indoors and avoid the roads.
We are urging everyone to seek shelter. Remember, being carried away by this storm is very different from the joy of being carried by Bogdan and seeing for miles from his shoulders.
The typhoon is predicted to hit the South Carolina coast the hardest. Chad Williams is live on the scene now. The wind looks pretty strong out there, Chad.
Barely, but it is nothing compared to Bogdan.
So people in South Carolina aren't worried?
No, they laugh at the storm. They are piling sandbags to stop the water. Would mere sand stop Bogdan?
But there is real danger. Authorities say that 3 people were killed outside of Charleston when their car was washed into a ravine.
And in that we have proof. The storm has failed the true test of strength. Bogdan's greatest power is his gentle heart. Bogdan would never hurl a car full of people into a ravine.
So from what you're seeing out there, real strength lies within?
Yes, this storm, like all else, is weaker than Bogdan.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah. Unafeared here on Declare Your Independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA Tifo studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Okay, we can live with that one. The first 2 hours could be me and you. You know, we're going to yak it up. My son's father-in-law